Welcome back, everyone. It is NFL Week 6. Make sure to like and subscribe on the channel. If you're watching live, we appreciate you tuning in. If you're not watching live and you're watching after the fact, remember this is recorded on a Tuesday. Use the chapters on the bottom of the YouTube channel, and you can scroll to each and every game that you would like. And as always, go over to betopenly.com, make a peer-to-peer sports betting account. Lots of crazy good things and updates are coming from BetOpenly. I believe is it next week with the peer-to-peer player props, straight bets, right?
Straight bets, single player props, no juice. Oh, yeah, single player props, no juice next week.
So go over and make a betopenly.com account. It is free to make an account. That link is in the description. Let's go ahead and dive into the show. Let's do a quick little NFL Week 5 recap to get started here. The 49ers and the Eagles, my Philadelphia Eagles, GIno's 49ers, the only two undefeated teams left in the NFL. Pretty crazy, right? 49ers dominated Dallas as Christian McCaffrey and Brock both stake claims to the potential MVP award. We're going to get into that here in a little bit. New England Patriots, it's not looking good in New England for Bill Belichick and Mac Jones. They hit an absolute new low in a shutout loss to New Orleans. And Jacksonville knocked off Buffalo in London. I'm pretty sure we were both last week talking about how a 5-point spread was pretty fishy. And, Jacksonville in London for a second week, and they looked really good. A lot of people woke up to that dog and under parlay cashing, so that was nice. But let's dive into the first bit here. Let's see.
I mean, are the Niners and Eagles getting better every week?
So here's what I'll say. I'll be honest with you. I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous that you guys are a little better than us. Obviously, right now you're better, but the thing that concerns me is it's a cheat code having Brock Purdy making $1 million a year.
It is a cheat code.
It's a cheat code. It allows your entire roster to be so damn good. So the Niners right now, I think, are clearly the best team in the NFL. But let me ask you this. Who would you pick for MVP right now in the league?
Oh, man. I mean this, and it's crazy bias, but I'm serious. I would pick Brock Purdy right now. And I don't have money on that. I'm not even saying bet it. I don't think he'll hold that. But just if you look at his stats, his completion percentage is insane. He doesn't turn the ball over, and he's racking up touchdowns.
There he is.
And we have two of the top 5 guys. It's nuts. And the last thing, again, you guys, I'll try and be minimal, but let me just hear me out because I want to make you money. The Niners barely used Kittle and got to where they did, and then they were able to use him in 3 touchdowns. Debo didn't eat, and neither did Ayuk. It's like every week, whoever they focus on the defense, it's going to open up someone else.
Right. There's so much energy that goes. I mean, you see Matt comes off of that 4-touchdown game, and then now it's George Kittle getting 3 touchdowns. It's like there's really no way to defend the 49ers right now. Now they do have a difficult test against a top 2 or 3 defensive team in the NFL. We'll get into that here in a little bit.
100%.
But who would you buy on right now? These are 2 of the top MVP candidates in the league. Obviously, McCaffrey at running back position, 20-1. What do you make of that? Would you buy on Brock Purdy right now at 7-1?
I'm so butthurt that my offensive player of the year bet is not in that I can't buy it. But if I was y'all, I would buy CMC over Brock, even though I want it to be Brock.
Yeah. I
think he's playing at about as high a level as he can get right now, so there's room for him to come back down to earth. Mm-hmm. Whereas CMC, if he keeps averaging, he almost had 2 touchdowns. He fumbled on the 1-yard line. If he keeps having,
he was so pissed about that.
Oh, he was so mad. If he keeps having 2 touchdowns
and
catching and running, it's going to be hard to argue with him.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's going to be hard. It's interesting.
100%. Next question for you. Who would you buy on right now in the AFC North? Because this is a wide open division. We see the Cincinnati Bengals. It feels like every year they come out, they play horribly, then they make a run mid-season. They're the underdog of this division, right? Steelers are right there with them. Ravens at +110, and then you have the Browns at +280. If you had to put $100 on a team right now today, who would you take at those odds?
Probably the Steelers.
Yeah.
And you and I gave out the Steelers +800. That was our biggest dog. We said that's just disrespectful. Tomlin makes the playoff. He wins. He's a winning record every year. I might right now today. The answer is Pitt. $100 win 4.6. I will say if the Niners win this week and drop Cleveland down to like +3 something, you could sell me on Cleveland pretty hard.
Interested. This is tough for me. I think all 3 dogs are decent bets. I'm staying away from the Ravens at +110. I think there's no value there, but I think you can make a case for any of the other 3 teams. The Browns defense has been really, really good. The games that they've given up more than 20 points, it's because of the offense. It's either like an interception or just putting them in bad situations. So, but no, I agree with you. I think the Steelers or Bengals could end up having some value there as well. So now another question for GIno. How big is this gap? Is the 49ers the clear-cut best team in the NFL, and who would you say is the closest?
The closest, it's hard, man. Like, I want to give your Eagles respect, right? You started off last year hot. You're starting off this year hot. We were talking about how you have a gauntlet coming up in a couple of weeks. It's kind of rude not to talk about the Chiefs. They've been in the Super Bowl how many of the last couple of years? They're the defending champs. And then lastly, I think the Lions need a little bit of respect. Their defense and offense keep both playing in the top 5 of the analytical categories. But I will say, this is going to be one of those years that I don't think a team out of the top 5 even has a shot. Like, I might start doing exact bets on the NFC, AFC matchups.
Yeah, but we say that every year, and then there's always that match.
There's always one dude that
hot
slithers in
late in the season. So we'll have to continue to monitor that. All right, quick recap here before we dive into NFL Week 6. So stay with us. But we had a nice week last week. GIno and I both cashed on our dog of the week. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys, that Steelers money line was a sweat and a half. They played 3 quarters of horrible offense and then got hot in that 4th quarter, ended up winning the game. You were on, what is that, the Saints?
Yeah, so I want to, real quick, Matty gave a bigger dog, so shout out to Matty. Trying to toot my horn a little bit. I gave you all Saints when they were +2 on Tuesday. They kicked off at -2. That was 4 points to CLV for y'all watching. So write down who we give you on the show now and make the plays, dude. We crushed closing line value.
100%. And then the buy low spot of the week, the Panthers, I was wrong on. This was my one wrong pick on the show. But I swear to God, they should have covered that game, bro. They lost by, what was it? They lost by 18 points, and that's with 3 turnovers.
And they picked 6. Dude, I thought that we had that. When they picked 6 out, I was like, we're going to go, because I went 4 for 5 on the buy low, sell highs. So,
yeah, Bryce Young finished 247 yards, 3 TDs, 2 picks. My boy, Miles Sanders, I'm glad we let him go at this point. We had to go cheaper. And Swift has been an animal.
Well, Swift is a monster.
He's a monster. But Miles Sanders fumbled in that game. I still believe the Panthers is the right bet in that spot, but you can't win every game. And then your buy low spots. What did you have here? You went 4-1 there on the buy low spots. So the Falcons, the Chiefs, the Colts, and the Steelers.
All won.
Panthers we were both wrong on.
We were both wrong.
Our sell spots. I told you the Washington Commanders. They were coming off of that game in a division game where they always play the Eagles tough, and I said this is now the week to sell them. And then what was your sell high spots?
Oh, it was the opposite of all the buy lows. That's how I did it. So my 2 losses here was the Carolina and then the Rams +4.5. Your Eagles own them, dude.
I like it. And then your to finish here we have covered the best bet of the week. My over. I had to sweat this. This was my 2-unit play. I think my 2nd or 3rd 2-unit play of the season. I love that bet. Over 43.5. It ended up cashing. It was a sweat late in the game. It finished 31-21, a 21-point 4th quarter. But going into that 4th quarter, it was what? It was at 31 points. So yeah, I needed 13 points in that 4th quarter to cash that over. We ended up getting 21 and then ended up hitting. And then Gino's spot on the Rams, where did they finish?
They were in it, but they just weren't, dude.
Against my birds. Yeah, don't bet against my birds. I won't bet against your Niners.
I made a mistake.
All right, well, let's dive into Week 6 because we're only as good as the new week. We all know that, right? So let's go ahead and dive into the first game of the week. Thursday Night Football. The Denver Broncos are traveling to Kansas City in a division game. plus 515 on the money line on betopenly.com. The total is 47.5 and the point spread is 10.5 here. So 30% of the tickets as of today, which is a Tuesday, are on the Broncos, 70% on the Chiefs. Broncos do have some injuries. Javonte Williams, questionable. Justin Simmons, questionable. The Chiefs, on the other hand, have a couple injuries as well. Taylor Swift's boyfriend is questionable. And trends for the game, Patrick Mahomes has failed to exceed 2.5 passing touchdowns in 9 of the last 12 games coming off of a win. Denver, 1-3-1 against the spread coming off a loss. And Kansas City, 16-8 versus the Broncos coming off of a win in their last 24 games. Now, this is a division game, and the under has hit in 17 of the last 26 Denver games on the road coming off a loss. I know that's a handful there. What do you like here?
I like the trend you said at the last. I like the under in this game the most. I think the Chiefs' defense is substantial. I don't get where it came from, but they're way better than last year. They're a really good defense. And I think if you're going to bet this, can Denver win this game? Nah, they can't win this game. But they can compete. And 10.5 is a nice hook. And people are low on Denver. They've been getting waxed. Division, it's still early in the season, guys. Just so you know, when we use historicals and we say early in the season, we mean weeks 1 through 8. So I would say my under is my favorite play on this game. And then Denver's a distance second. So if you're betting both, I would put double the money on the under.
Yeah, this is a game where I'll give you a lean, but I'll probably stay away from it, truthfully. I mean, you look at this Denver Broncos team, I think they're terrible.
He says that now. Thursday night, he'll be hammering.
Yeah, I really do think this team is terrible. You lose at home to the Jets by 10. Now you're going on the road in the division game to the Chiefs. I mean, I just don't really see where Denver is better. Like, where are they better anywhere?
They're not.
Position. Are they not better on offense? They're not better defensively. I still can't get out of my head the fact they gave up 70 to the Dolphins in Miami. I know that was 2 or 3 weeks ago now, but Chiefs are first in the NFL in third down conversions. Broncos are 18th in the NFL defending it. Ready for this? Chiefs are first in the NFL in protecting the quarterback from sacks. The Broncos are 22nd in generating sacks. I almost feel like the Chiefs could be they did cover last week, but 27-20 against Minnesota, it was kind of ugly. I just feel like this is kind of more of a get-right spot at home for Kansas City here against this Broncos team. I just think that
it's uncomfortable.
Yeah,
the Chiefs should be able to smoke them.
Yeah, I mean, I think double-digit favorites at home historically have not been bad. If this number is between 8 and 9.5, then you start to think about it. But now that it's over 10.5, I just think a Rowden could be here. I think we could see maybe like a 20-plus point win, if I'm being honest here. So I'm going to lean on the Kansas City Chiefs here. It is a Thursday Night Football primetime game, so I'll probably have to force a play here when we get closer to Thursday. But for right now, this is definitely just a lean here for me. Any last thoughts on this game?
No, if I had to say something, I think Russ has a game. I think Russ and Peyton have a game. Yeah. I don't think they win the game. I'm not that crazy. Mm-hmm. I just think they compete. I really do. I don't know. I have a weird feeling that they compete, even though on every statistical I've seen, they should get absolutely smoked.
Interesting. Very interesting. All right. We're going to London for Sunday morning. Now, remember, this past week, guess what happened Sunday morning? The dog money line cashed with the under in a parlay. The Jags. Don't miss out. Don't sleep in on this Sunday game because I'm about to give you my favorite play of the entire week in this game.
What?
I love this spot here. All right. Baltimore Ravens traveling to London to face the Titans. The money line is minus 280 for the Ravens. They are a 4-point favorite on a neutral field. Over under at 40.5. Now, 18% of the tickets as of today on a Tuesday are on this Ravens team. So the public is not very... They didn't like what they saw last week against Pittsburgh. 82% of the tickets are on Tennessee. The Ravens do have a few injuries, nothing crazy. The Titans, on the other hand, Treylon Burks, questionable, nothing crazy injury-wise as well. Both teams are relatively healthy. Now, Lamar Jackson has thrown an interception in 7 of his last 9 games on the road as a favorite. Now, this is on a neutral site. The under is hit in 9 of the Ravens' last 12 games coming off a loss. And Derrick Henry has exceeded 9.5 receiving yards in 8 of his last 10 games against top 10 passing defenses. So maybe that you're going to look at the player prop there on him. But I got to ask you, a London game here, 4-point spread. What do you think?
Titans get no more money from me. None. They burn me in every situation. I don't know how to read this team. They have a fantastic run defense. So you would think that would translate over to this game. Baltimore's dropping a lot of balls. They did not look good. They just didn't look good. They had that game every way, shape, and form and lost it. So I'm going to go under here. This is a strong lean for me for now. I like this under 40.5. That will probably be what I wake up to, is watching that under win in an absolute grind out game. I just don't love the Titans. They've been so hit or miss offensively and defensively.
Interesting. All right, I'm going to give you my 3-unit play in this game. Now, I've given out one. I haven't given this out on social media, chalkboard, anywhere. This is the first time I'm announcing it, and it's on the show here. I'm giving you my 3-unit play. I'm 1-0 in these so far. I took GIno's boys, the San Francisco 49ers, in the first half against the Cardinals as my 3-unit play. This is my second 3-unit play this season. I absolutely love the Baltimore Ravens here, -4 in London. All right, here's why. I just think Lamar Jackson is going to bounce back. GIno mentioned it, the drops. It's a game in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh was my dog of the week last week. I said in the video, I said, throw out all the statistics when it's Ravens versus Steelers division game. Nothing matters. It doesn't matter who the better team is. It doesn't matter what happened earlier in the season. Throw out all of that in the division game. Now, this is the opposite, right? The Titans are 28th in the NFL in quarterback hurries. How do you stop the Ravens? You have to get Lamar Jackson uncomfortable, fumbles, strip sacks, turnovers, interceptions. The Titans are not good at doing that. They're 28th in getting to the quarterback. I think Lamar shows out in London. I really do. I think, you just picture Lamar Jackson going to London off a bounce back game. Like, maybe I'm crazy for this, but I think he's going to ball out there. I really do. The Ravens are second in the league in scoring and scoring defense. The Titans are 26th. The Ravens are first in red zone efficiency, with the Titans at 29th. I actually think this is a complete mismatch on paper, and I like the spot here with the Ravens coming off of that division loss. And they're still, think about the slide we just showed you guys a little bit ago. They're still plus 110 to win this division. They're heavily favored. It's because the odds makers know they're going to take care of the games they need to take care of, which is right here. I love the Ravens -4 here. I think they win this game by double digits. And I think they remind us that, this Ravens team is talented. Their defense is unbelievable. Lamar is Lamar when he's not turning the ball over, when the receivers aren't dropping the ball. So I think that the Ravens blow this team out in London. I think we're going to wake up to some free cash. That's the way I look at it.
I'm hoping it's like 37-0 for you.
37-0.
I do like the under. I think the Ravens defense does hold the Titans to next to nothing. So that plays into Matty's hand.
I like it. Let's get some comments here from Nathan. You guys really got to start looking more into Bet and Alex for your intentional degenerates. And then a comment here from James. He's doubted my 3-unit play here. The Titans always play the Ravens tough. I agree, but this ain't the playoffs. This is a London game, and I think the Ravens show out. So we will see. Let's get a move on to the next week if I can figure out how to do that. There we go.
You nailed it.
All right. Up next here, we'll go to the 1:00 p.m. Eastern slate. The Carolina Panthers go into Miami to get slaughtered. Plus 750 on the money line, plus 13.5 on the spread, over under 48.5. An astounding 6% of tickets so far are on the Panthers on the spread here. 94% on the Miami Dolphins. Panthers have a couple injuries. Dolphins have a few, nothing major. Miami is 19-10 against the spread, coming off of a win. Miami's also 28-15 straight up at home, coming off of a win. What do you think here? This is a giant point spread, but Miami's offense is so explosive. Every time they touch the ball, if you bet against them, every time a receiver touches the ball or the running back gets it, you're literally holding your breath, hoping they don't go 80 yards to the end zone.
Exactly. Man. The Giants had every chance to cover against the Dolphins. Every chance, and they couldn't. That's how good the Dolphins offense is and how efficient they are. My crazy ballsy survivor is going to be the Dolphins. I was against the Panthers last week. I'm going to be against them this week again. They're not as bad as their record, and they're not as bad as they seem. They just can't win games. They stay in, they hang around, and then they just fall apart at the end. So I do lean Carolina plus 13.5, but not heavy at all. This Miami team knows they need to win games like this. So I'm down to one survivor left. So this is where I just start using teams that I'm very confident in, and I take chances in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I hear you. I say it every single week, and maybe the Panthers keep making me look like an idiot, but I really don't think they're as bad as everybody thinks. I look at last week, for example. I pull up the box score. I mean, yeah, they lost 42-24 to Detroit. But it literally took 2 picks and a fumble for Miles Sanders for that to happen. Like, there's going to be a week where the Panthers put it together and they might not win outright, but they will be very competitive against a good team. It's going to happen. I'm wondering if it's against this Miami Dolphins team here. Obviously I think they have to create some turnovers on defense to even have a chance here. But if I have to give you guys a lean here, I do like the Panthers plus 13.5. I also like the over 48.5 here, but again, not sure that I'll have an official pick on this game or not. What do you think?
Yeah. I said it, I'm going Dolphins on the survivor, and if you made me bet it, the spread would be on the Panthers. I genuinely believe people think lower of them than they are. I just don't. They got to cover.
Bryce Young is so frustrated.
They have to, Ethan. Eventually.
Bryce Young is so frustrated, man.
I go back to the game in Seattle. They should have won. Seattle's a good team.
Yeah, no, 100%.
That was a way different season then. They would have been 2-1. Now it's a totally different world.
All right, moving on to the Commanders, traveling to Atlanta, plus 128 on the money line for the Commanders. They are a 2.5-point dog as well, with the over/under at 42. 12% of the tickets so far on the Commanders, 88% on the Falcons. A few injuries for each side, nothing major. Atlanta is 5-13-3 against the spread, coming off of a win. Washington 14-35 straight up, coming off of a loss.
Oh my God!
The under has hit in 19 of the last 28 Commander games, coming off of a loss. What do you lean here?
Oh man, I can't get away from loving this over. Washington got exposed by Chicago. Let's not forget that. That was what?
Yeah.
5 days ago, their defense got exposed by Chicago. I know Ritter's not that great, but dude, they're gonna be able to run the ball. I like Atlanta here. I like a money line. I like a minus 2.5. They're a good team at home, Atlanta. They won a very tough game this past week.
3-0 at home now.
3-0 at home,
and it's
confidence building.
Yeah, and it's like these minus 2.5 teams at home. The public is winning big on them this year. You know, like you think about it, you're getting a team that's 3-0 at home, minus 2.5. It feels square.
So square.
It really does. But man, I think the Commanders are bad. I've been saying it all season. I always say, they came and competed with the Eagles, and they maybe could have won that game if they went for 2 at the end. But it's just how they play against the Eagles. And then you see the very next week, they look like shit again. Atlanta has looked really solid at home. This is a game I'll probably stay away from, but if I had to pick, I would probably take Atlanta here in this spot. I do like your over. You said you like the over here?
Yeah, I like the over. I just 27-20, something like that, Atlanta. The over-under at 42 feels low, and there's nothing I saw in Washington's defense to make me think Atlanta can't put up 27 on them. And I actually think Washington scores a little. I'm surprised Chicago held them as low as they did. So I think you're getting this over at a decently low spot here.
Yeah, I mean, Washington gave up 40 to the Bears last week. That's just absolutely crazy. Justin Fields, what do they have? 4 touchdowns? I don't know. I don't know why this number is so small at 42.
I know. It
definitely scares me because I think one of these teams could probably put up 30 themselves. But we'll have to see what happens. This is a game. There's a lot of other games on the board that I'd probably rather bet on than this one, if we're being honest. So
makes sense.
Let's move on here. The Saints versus the Texans. Saints right now are -1, so we'll have to monitor that because it feels like every week in the Saints games, they're either a small dog or a small favorite, and it flips.
It really does.
Over under 42.5, 20% of the tickets on the Saints, 80% of the tickets on the Texans. Some quick trends in this game. Houston is 7-25 straight up coming off of a loss. The under is hit in 20 of the Saints' last 27 games. And the Saints are 6-12-1 against the spread coming off of a win here. What do you like here?
Under. I love the under in this game.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. 42.5, the same as Washington, Atlanta. What?
Makes no sense.
Bro, the over-under is only this high because the Saints went off on a good New England Patriots defense.
Yeah.
But that score doesn't tell the whole story. This game should be a 13-10 final. The Houston has a good defense. Saints are going to score less. Saints have a great defense. Texans are barely going to score. Matty, I'm going to throw a new segment on for you later where we give a lean.
Yeah.
I like this. I was screwing around on FanDuel. I always look on FanDuel for like ideas for bet openly for peer-to-peer. And I saw that they offer the highest scoring team and lowest scoring team. And it's kind of like a nasty parlay. Like these things pay 10, 20, 30-1. So I have a little asterisk. I wouldn't be surprised if the Texans were the lowest scoring team this week. So remember I said that. We'll go back to it. I love the under. This is probably my biggest bet so far. And again, don't run out and bet your whole bankroll on it, guys. These are our leans. I come out, I look at all the data, all the spreads, and Matty and I feed you unfiltered. And then I go back and the systems Matty's reading to you, I make sure that all the systems don't check our box and go against what I'm saying. So I just don't want any of you to feel betrayed. This is our unfiltered feedback from two degens that bet. What DD gets fed is a little bit different because I then go back and back it all up with algorithms and systems.
Yeah. Look, I love this under too. I literally have written down here. I almost put this out as an early play on Twitter today.
Oh shit.
And I didn't know what to do because the total's at 42.5.
Yeah.
And that number, I love it. I already love it.
Gotta love it.
But I'm like, can I get it at 43? And the answer is probably no. But I think there's too much risk in waiting. Like if that number hits 41.5, 42. Like,
dude, this will kick off at 40.
Right. That's why I'm concerned about. I think tonight I'm going to put this out as an official play on my card. But look, you know why I really like the under? I wanted to bring this up is the Texans are very careful with the ball too. Like CJ Stroud is not going to gamble. I think he right now as a rookie, he's like leading. He's about to set a record for like not turning the ball.
Oh wow, I didn't know.
Or it's something similar to that. But my point is we know what we're getting from both these teams. Like they can run the ball, they're conservative, they're not going to throw picks. Like I think a lot of these times when you're taking these low unders, you have to worry about a pick six or a team on their own side of the field throwing an interception that leads to a quick 7. And I think that this is going to be literally a full game of field position, right? Like where a team can get a couple first downs and punt, and then a couple first downs and punt. And neither team, it's like going to be a chess match all game where neither team wants to make the mistake or give up the big play. And that's why I really love this under. I'm kind of going to raise it to a 2-unit play here when I give it out tonight. But I don't get why it's 42.5.
I think it's because of what the Saints did in New England. They're going to be able to put up points and then Houston will pass.
So to be clear, this is the 4th ranked scoring defense versus the 11th ranked. These are teams that are not going to take huge gambles or huge risks.
At all.
I do love this under. I'm glad we're aligned on it. The under is hit in 20 of the Saints' last 27 games coming off the win. I think Houston, most of their games, I believe, have gone under this year. Let me double check that.
And while you're checking that, guys, I'm telling you, this game could be 13-10 final. Now, I'm exaggerating a bit. Like, obviously, I would put my house on if I really thought that was it, and I get 13, 19 points of cushion.
Yeah.
But I really cannot see a max over 2017.
Yeah. I mean, the Texans so far this season, outside of the Ravens game in week 1, they held the Colts to 20, the Jags to 17, the Steelers to 6, and the Falcons to 19. Like, what are we missing here?
We're not. I'm telling you, it's the fact that the Saints did that to a really good Patriots defense. But dude, that there was a lot of mistakes in that game.
Agreed. I like it. I like this under a lot. I'm glad we're aligned there. Let's move on. Minnesota Vikings, Chicago Bears division game. Vikings are a small favorite on the road, -2.5. The over-under at 44.5. 36% of the tickets on the Vikings so far, with 64% of the tickets on the Bears. Justin Jefferson is doubtful. That's a huge loss here. I would imagine that's, a half a point on the line. Like usually,
I think it's 2 points in this instance, which sounds
crazy
and
for a
generous.
receiver. Yeah. But it could be. It's definitely at least half a point here. That's a huge loss in this game. The Bears injuries, Eddie Jackson questionable. Khalil Herbert is doubtful as well. Bears are 2-8 coming off of a win in their last 10 games. They're also 8-15 against the spread coming off of a win in their last 23 games. Am I crazy here to like the Bears money line at home?
You're not crazy. The people saw a really good Bears performance.
Yeah.
So I just don't think there's value on the Bears right here. I'm being honest. You have a star receiver out for Minnesota. It makes me like Minnesota more. I get them cheap. So being transparent with all of you, I gave out Minnesota Vikings in DD a day or two ago. This line is insane. If Chicago is better than Minnesota just because their receiver is out, you can have my money. Minnesota's minus 127 on the money line. This is no way. No way. This is their season. This is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I know that Chicago's rested. I know they performed in primetime, and I know Justin Jefferson's out. That's 3 reasons why I'm getting Minnesota cheap.
So you think that money line here?
I'm going Minnesota money line.
What'd you get it at?
Minus 127.
Yeah, it is very cheap.
It's just cheap. There's a lot of reasons to bet the Bears. I'm only betting the value on Minnesota.
Yeah. So the Vikings and Bears tied for last in the NFC North, both at 1-4. The Lions are at 4-1. The Green Bay Packers at 2-3. I mean, based on what we've seen from the Packers, I think you can make a case that whoever wins this game between the Bears and Vikings would have the best chance at catching the Lions versus the Packers. Like, honestly, if the Bears can get hot or the Vikings can get hot, I think the Lions run away with the division, if we're being honest here. But if I had to pick a second team, I would say the winner of this game is that second team that can make a run at the Lions.
And I think the Vikings are 0-3 at home. So it's like they're not good at home this year for whatever. They're playing tough teams at home also. But 1-1 on the road, I'm getting a minus 127 to the Bears. I've told you guys this 100 times.
Yeah.
I like things cheap. If this was opening weekend, Minnesota would be minus 6.
What do you like on this total here? Because right now it's sitting at 44.5. And I just think that, I know Jefferson's out, and I know it's a division game, but
Minnesota's been weird, man.
I like the over, man. I really do.
How their defense held. What's
so
their
this
defense?
This is the 23rd ranked score in defense versus the 30th ranked score in defense, right? The total's 44.5. Vikings are 31st in turnovers.
Yeah.
The Bears just forced 2 last week and two turnovers last week. Man,
this is weird.
I would not be surprised at all if Bears money line and over. I know it feels square. I know you're getting a cheap play on the Vikings here, but if the Vikings cannot, we all know with the Vikings, when it gets bad, it gets bad. Like Jefferson's out. They're talking about Kirk Cousins being traded.
No, it's getting bad. I agree. It's there. The only thing I'll say, just looking at the box score, Vikings were right there. They were tied with the Chiefs at half, and the Chiefs came out and just punched them in the mouth in the third quarter.
Yeah,
dude. Chiefs had a couple chances to tie that game. They chose not to kick a field goal, which I actually think they should have kicked that first field goal, not to cover for me, but just because there was a lot of time left in the game, like 6 minutes. But I don't know. Their defense has been sneaky in that they're about to give up a lot of points and they just don't. So I really just can't get away from liking Minnesota minus 127. That's my whole play on this. I don't care if they put up 100 or if they put up 15 and win. So I've really just lasered in on that. And because it's an early bet for me and I already gave it out to DD, that I just don't want to pigeonhole myself to how they win this game.
I respect it. All right here, Seahawks versus Bengals. The Seahawks are a 2.5 point underdog at Cincinnati. They're plus 137 on the money line, over under 45.5. Now the Seahawks are one of the teams that are coming off of a bye from last week. Important to know that. The Bengals, on the other hand, have not looked good this season. They just won, what was it, second game? Do you know?
Seahawks?
No, the Bengals.
They're, what are they? 2-3. They're 2-3.
2-3. Thank you. Yep. Coming off of the 34-20 win against the Cardinals here. 45% of the tickets, 45% of the tickets are on Seattle here, 55% on Cincinnati. Bengals have won their last 8 games at home coming off of a win.
So interesting enough, Bengals 2 wins are versus the NFC West.
Yeah.
So do with that what you will. This is an NFC West team. I got the Seahawks as my dog of the week. And it doesn't mean I disagree with Matty that this is a tough spot here. Burrow looks healthy, right? He looked better. He looked like his old self last week. They put together a pretty good win. I just cannot believe I'm getting plus 144 on these Seahawks. I have the Seahawks as a top 15 team in my power rankings, and I do not see the Bengals that way in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
The Seattle team went into Detroit and won. That's Detroit's only loss. Now, there were fumbles in that game, so put a little asterisk there. And now Seattle has had a bye.
Yep.
They're rested. And they're playing a Bengals team that only beat the Rams in a very tough, ugly game where I think the Rams should have won that game.
Yeah.
And Arizona. Let's remember what we all thought about Arizona just 5-6 weeks ago. We thought they were going to be the winless Cardinals. So I'm taking the plus 144 just sheerly on value.
Yeah. Well, here's what I'll say. The Seahawks defense was flying around against the Giants when they won 24-3 a week before the bye. And now they've had a bye to kind of build off of that.
I know.
So I'm with you, man. I think the Seahawks money line here could make a lot of sense. Here's the thing about the Bengals is if you look at them last year, even like, yes, they stumble early every season, but then they kind of go back and forth with wins and losses. And it's not till the second half of the season do they put that crazy run together where it's like
true.
5, 6, 7, 8 wins in a row. So I think they could stumble here at home. I'm kind of with you. I like the value on the money line here. But I'm not in love with it at the same time. But I get it. I do think it's a good value play. What do you like here on the total? The over-under right now is sitting at 45.5. Any lean there?
Man, this one's tough for me. I just remember that Rams-Bengals game, how ugly it was.
Yeah.
And the Seahawks defense is quietly good. The Bengals defense has actually held them into that game that they should not have won. I don't know. This was a weird one for me. Burrow looked in his old form. So, like, all you need for this to hit, right? 24-23, something ugly like that. If you made me bet it, I'm probably going over here. Just because I think the public will be a little bit on this under, saying the Bengals defense has to perform for them to hang with the Seahawks. The Seahawks defense got better. They're off a bye. I could see some back and forth here. I could see some fireworks.
Yeah. I like this under. I lean towards under a little bit. So Jamal Adams didn't practice on Monday, but Pete Carroll's saying that he should be cleared today.
Oh, is he cleared? Okay.
And I just think that's a huge factor against Joe Burrow. I lean the under. I could see this being a really ugly game, honestly. I can see it being a really ugly game. And
you mentioned two good trends. The Bengals have won their last 8 games at home off a win. That's a big, strong trend. When their confidence is high and they come home, they win. And then the under has hit 14 of the 20 Bengals games off a win.
Yeah.
I'm giving out one play on this. It's Seahawks money line, simply buying them low and selling the Bengals high. I think the value's too much to pass up for me. But I think this is going to be a bit of a fight. I don't think this is going to be a walkover game for either team. I think it's going to be a really good game.
I like it. All right. There's the game right here. This is probably the game of the week. The 49ers, GIno's 49ers -5.5, -214 on the money line at Cleveland. Over under 37.5. Am I reading that correctly? Did our designer make a mistake? Or is this the right number? Because it doesn't feel like a right number. But these are the top 2 scoring defenses in the NFL. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's the top 2
and
points defenses in the NFL and points allowed. So
yeah.
Let's see. The under is hit in 5 of the Browns' last 5 games coming off a loss. The Browns are 17, 31, and 4 against the spread at home, coming off of a loss. And the Browns are 39 and 86 coming off of a loss straight up. This is an interesting game, right? Because 5.5 points on the road against a top scoring defense in the NFL feels like a lot of points. But also, when we look and see how good the 49ers offense is rolling, you can't stop them. You try to stop the run game. You got Kittle, you got Ayuk, you got Debo. You try to stop the receivers and their tight end. McCaffrey's going to put up a three touchdown game on you. So it's really pick your poison when it comes to stopping the 49ers. I've been on record the last few weeks saying it is an absolute cheat code to pay Brock Purdy $1 million a year and then spread that salary cap around the rest of the team. So this is a tough one. I think Deshaun Watson is back for this game, which makes a huge difference. So let me just talk on the Browns real quick, because if you look at their schedule and who they've played, they defensively, like they lost to the Steelers 26-22, right? But if we look at that game, I believe 14 of those points were defensive touchdowns. Right, that the Steelers got, right? So really they only gave up 12 points. Really they only gave up 12 points of offense to the Steelers.
Which means they played the Steelers how what we did off defensively.
Right. They beat the Bengals 24-3. So they held the Bengals to 3 points in week 1. They hold the Steelers to 12 points of offense in week 2. They hold the Titans to 3 points of offense in week 3. And then the Ravens game, although they lost 28-3, you have to throw that game out. Deshaun Watson didn't play. It started with the interceptions that led the points.
Yeah.
You have to throw that game out. And now you go into this game, you're like, okay, I'm going to get Deshaun Watson playing, and I get a really good defense. And now we're all looking at this at like, damn, 38 points on a total with the Niners who are putting up over 30 points a week. It's really scary to take that under, but something tells me that under is going to hit. What do you think?
The under is going to hit. This game's disgusting. Yuck. This will be my first time all year betting against my Niners. And I don't think the Niners lose. I just think they win by 3 to 4. The line opened up at 3.5, maybe even 3. I think it's 3.5. The public bet this right up to 5.5. It crossed 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5. Those are very key numbers. And
yeah,
the Niners' confidence is peak. The beating Dallas how we did in prime time is why the spread is where it is. This should be 3.5, and it makes me sick.
Well, there's still a lot of uncertainty there, right? Like as of today, Deshaun Watson's considered day-to-day with the bruised rotator cuff in his throwing shoulder. His status for Sunday is still to be determined, right? Then you have Myles Garrett, and he's dealing with a left foot injury. He's expected to be okay, but these guys are banged up.
They're banged up.
Even though it's in Cleveland, even though they have a great defense,
off a bye,
I think the spread still feels right to me. It's just
we're coming down off an emotional high from smoking Dallas.
Yeah.
Let me say it like this, guys, and I'm going to repeat myself, but I want you all to be careful betting against the Niners. And I've said this to people, and they don't always listen, so I hope this helps one person out there. The public loses more money betting against hot streaks than they win betting on hot streaks. They believe that what goes up must come down, and they overbet it. So right now, they're going to jump on the Niners here off this hot win and beating a really good Dallas D. On paper, Cleveland's the same team, et cetera, et cetera. So everything Matt explained is why it's 5.5. It's not a trap. The books are getting bets on the Niners at a disproportionate amount. They need to keep moving the line to get some bets on the other side. The Niners' confidence could not be higher. Their offense couldn't be clicking at better times. Their line is playing nasty. Brock is horizontally shuffling behind the line. Everything's in peak form. So I hope I lose this bet. If a Niners double-digit win happens, I'll donate my 1 unit, but I'm going to take the 5.5. I hope I'm buying my team a W.
And is that contingent upon Watson playing?
No, I'm just betting it right now. I'm betting off that it moved from 3.5 to 5.5. So I'll bet this early. I think this is going to be a 17-3 type ugly game. I think Cleveland's going to have a lot of trouble scoring against us. They're not going to be able to run the ball. But I just think what people expected out of the Niners in the Dallas game offensively to struggle a little bit, they're going to see that more in Cleveland on a rougher field in a colder setting. I don't even know if it's cold there yet. It's not snowing or nothing, but on the road, and the team's off a bye. Now, can you prepare for our offense in 2 weeks? Probably not. We have too many weapons. This, to me, just has a public getting slaughtered on a backdoor cover. So I really hope the Niners are up 10. I hope it scores 17-7, something like that. And then they backdoor 17-14, 17-13, whatever.
Interesting. We will see. Yeah, something tells me the under's hitting this game, but not a game I'm going to love to bet on. So let's move on here. We got the Colts going to Jacksonville in a division game. The Colts right now are plus 3.5 or 4 on the road, over under 45.5. The Colts do have some injuries here. Shaquille Leonard's questionable. Anthony Richardson is out. My guy Gardner Minshew is in again. Jags have a few injuries here. Zay Jones, Devin Lloyd, both questionable. What do you think in this game, right? Because we've already seen this game this year. I believe it was 31-21, right? Where the Colts lost by 10 points to the Jags. What do you think about a divisional rematch this early in the season? Who do you lean on here? And remember, I got to bring this up. The Jacksonville Jaguars are now coming off of 2 weeks in London, coming back to Jacksonville here. That's very important. Is there any jet lag? Is there any?
This might be the squarest GIno you're going to see in the next 30 seconds. So Jags won them back their season and playoff hopes with 2 great wins in London. Yeah. They roll with that momentum and confidence. Jags money line is my chalk play of the week. I'm all over it. I'm going to put that in a couple of parlays and be a square. I loved what I saw from their defense over in London. Square GIno's hammer in Jacksonville. I'm putting them money line in a few fun parlays. What Minshew's? I don't hate Minshew. I really don't. I think the Richardson quarterback would have given him a harder time. I like where the Jags defense is at right now, and I think their offense builds off it.
Gardner Minshew last week, 11 of 14, 3 incompletions the entire game, 155 yards, 23 carries for Moss, 165 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. That's with Jonathan Taylor taking a back seat, coming off of the injury and just chilling, right? And just getting some carries. This Colts team is winning this game outright. It is Minshew time. The mustache, he's getting it done. I love Gardner Minshew in this spot. Call me biased. Say what you want, but the Colts are going to even the playing field here. They're going to go 1-1 for the season against the Jags here. The Colts offense this season, you ready for this? They have been better than the Jags in scoring, red zone efficiency, and third down conversions, and that's with 2 different quarterbacks playing. You now have Jonathan Taylor coming back for the 2nd week off the injury, which he's going to be a lot better. And you now have a very dynamic backfield.
They really do.
Moss and Taylor, and Gardner Minshew play action, slinging the rock. I like the Colts to win this game outright. I almost made it my dog of the week, but I have a dog that I like better, so that's coming up here shortly. But here's what I'm going to say right now. If the Colts just force 1 turnover or more against Trevor Lawrence in this game, I think they easily cover the spread here, and I think they can win this game outright. So, yes, I think your play is square.
It's my square play. I admitted it.
100%. But no, I do like the Colts in this spot. So they have burned me in the past, but they did pay me big. What game was it? Colts money line I took. What game was it?
Who did
the Ravens?
Yeah.
Colts money line when they were a 9-point dog at Baltimore. I took their money line.
That was the biggest one.
That was
so far.
a big hit. I think it was plus 330 or somewhere around there.
No, I'm saying from a parlay perspective, that was the biggest one so far.
Right. 100%.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. This game is my dog of the week right here. And it is absolutely ugly, but here's what I'm going to say. Or let me break the game down first. The Patriots plus 3.5 against the Raiders, plus 155 on the money line, over under 41.5. I'll just get right into it here. I might die fading McDaniels in this Raiders team, but I'm going to fade them almost every single week. They are absolutely terrible. I don't know how they won the other night. I think this team is terrible. You got Bill Belichick. He knows how to game plan against Jimmy G and McDaniels. I understand the Patriots look like shit. Their offense is 32nd in the NFL. But let's take a look right here, okay? Let's take a look at –
listen to who they've played.
The Patriots are 32nd in the NFL in offense.
Scoring.
But here's who they've played. They've played the Eagles,
Yeah.
defense, the Jets defense, the Cowboys defense, and the Saints defense. I mean, that's 4 of the top 10 defenses
Easily
in the NFL. And everyone is selling this Patriots team, which I'm not opposed to that, right? I'll sell them too for the season. But I'm not ready to make them a plus 150 dog against this dog shit Raiders team. I love the Patriots here. They're my dog of the week. Keep the points. Let's see what GIno thinks.
I think I'm going to back you up here, brother. The only way to bet this is New England Patriots money line and the over because they look so bad on offense.
I do like the over too.
People are throwing so much hate at Belly. It's wild. The man has 6 rings.
Yeah.
And the early rings were all defense and just some Tom Brady. The early rings, some of you young kids
you
don't
can
know
make the argument that he's not a good GM.
That's fair. I'm not arguing any of that.
I think if you're the Patriots organization at this point, you say, Bill, you just coach. We're taking over. And
I can't believe he's a GM.
He's missed on everything. He's done.
No. So I don't know. Kids these days have short-term memories. I've never seen anything like it. I'm hammering Patriots money line 23-20 W.
That goes over too by
23-20.
I like that, bro. Look, I'm gonna hope that for the sake of my dog and under parlays, this game somehow stays under. But I agree with you. I do lean the over. This is going to be at least a 1 or 1.5 unit play for me on the dog, though. I love the money line. I'll probably maybe even put a unit and a half on the points and the money line here. But I do like New England in this spot. I will continue to fade the Raiders, and hopefully this one won't cost me. Moving on to a division game here. Cardinals traveling to the Rams. Cardinals plus 270 on the money line. 6.5 point spread over under 48.5. James Conner is doubtful in this game for the Cardinals. The Rams are 13-4 against the spread versus the Cardinals coming off of a loss. The Cardinals are 6-15 coming off of a loss straight up in their last 21 games. The under is hit in 21 of the Rams' last 32 games coming off of a loss. I gotta be honest, nothing sticks out to me in this game.
Nothing.
I don't like anything, but what do you think?
My notes are semi-similar. I said Cardinals have battled all year. Like they really do. They always battle in the division too, even when they're crappy in the rest of the they're decent against the Rams. They really do. This over is wildly high, so I don't love getting +6 and an over-under of 48.
Yeah.
So points are cheap here. I won't be betting this game, but if you made me, I would be the Cardinals +3.5 first half. Just come out and compete. I was so pissed that I had them first quarter and first half last week because I felt like that was the right play when they took the lead against Cincinnati. So that's what I think. I just think they get
that game was a lot of back and forth.
Oh my God.
It was funny because I was thinking about live betting that game. I was watching it and the Bengals were up. They were up, and I was like, damn, the Bengals were such a lock, such a buy low spot. Next thing you know, they're down points. And I'm like, should I live bet them now? I was just saying they were a lock. I didn't live bet them. And the next thing you know, they go up big again. I'm like, I'm such an idiot. But
I found the Bengals +130 live. I typed it out and then I deleted it.
Yeah, it's the Bengals have to be the hardest team in the NFL to bet, I think. Their games in general. Like their games, you just no idea what's going to happen in a Bengals game. But no, I'm with you. I think this is a tough game to get behind.
We got better games. Don't waste your money.
I would take if I had to choose a side, I'm taking the Arizona Cardinals here +6.5. So, all right, moving on here. Detroit Lions versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is another game where a team is coming off of a bye. Tampa Bay Bucks coming off the bye here, and they are now a 3-point dog at home, +150 on the money line, over under 43.5, maybe 44 in this game. Lions do have some injuries. St. Brown questionable, Jahmyr Gibbs questionable, Brian Branch questionable. Those are 3 key players to keep an eye out for. Buccaneers, Mike Evans questionable as well. The Lions are 17-9 against the spread on the road, coming off of a win. So they've done very well, according to the market, on the road, coming off of those wins. What do you like here?
I have Detroit as a top 4 team in my power rankings. People keep hating on them. They keep winning. Their only loss, they had 3 fumbles to a decent Seahawks team. So I think you're getting Detroit cheap here. That said, Tampa Bay last owned New Orleans, who since owned the New England Patriots.
Yeah.
It's not how the NFL works, but just put these in the back of your head. Bucks are off a bye. I mean, there's just so many betting options that like it's hard to go against the team off a bye. It just shows a lack of discipline. It shows impatience. So I hate fading teams off of the bye. I just think the Lions are substantially better.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting the Lions -3, which to me is insanely cheap. And you're getting it so cheap because New Orleans went in and smacked the Patriots, and Tampa Bay just smacked New Orleans at home, and then they're on a bye. So I like buying low or selling high. I think I'm having a chance to sell Bucks pretty damn high here against a team I have top 4 in my power rankings.
Yeah.
So
no, that's totally fair. But I mean, look, you look at the Bucks, you're like, this team's 3-1.
They are 3-1.
They're coming off a bye. Baker Mayfield and the Bucks are 3-1.
They smoked New Orleans,
and they're going to be very competitive in the NFC South. I mean,
they could win the NFC South.
They beat the Saints team by 17 points before the bye week in Week 4.
They owned them.
I'll tell you what I like in this game. I love the under. I think you close your eyes in this game and you bet the under. Bucks are 8th in scoring defense and are coming off of the bye. They're also tied for 20th in scoring, right? So they're not explosive offensively, and they're 8th. They're 8th defensively against scoring. Plus, they've had an extra week to prepare for this Lions offense, and the Lions defense is pretty solid. Like
it's great.
It's pretty solid. So I think the under makes a lot of sense here if you can get it at around 44 or so. What do you think?
Yeah, I like the under as well.
I like it. All right. Moving on here.
Ooh.
My Philadelphia Eagles. You know what, bro? I said on the show last week, the Eagles were one of my favorite chalk plays, and I didn't put them out on my card. Yeah. Everyone was like, oh, this is the game the Eagles are going to lose. Like, Cooper Kupp's back for the Rams. They got 2 great receivers now. The Eagles look like shit all season. Next thing you know, the Eagles cover that game. I should have been on it. But we move to this game. Eagles -6.5, maybe 7 on some books. Over under 41.5, maybe 42 there. This is tough, right? Fletcher Cox is questionable. Rashad Penny's questionable. The Jets have a few small injuries, nothing crazy. The Eagles, though, I want to ask you a serious question. Is this a bad matchup for the Jets? Because you have Zach Wilson as your quarterback, who does not like guys in his face, right? And the Eagles are number one in the NFL against the rush, right? They're number 1 at stopping the run game, which is what the Jets do well. They play defense and they run the ball well. And the Eagles are number 1 in quarterback hurries, right? So number 1 against stopping the run, number 1 at hurrying the quarterback. To me, that's a formula for disaster for this Jets team. And I know this Jets team is a lot better than what a lot of people think. They have a really solid roster. When they get that run game going, they're actually more dangerous than people think. But I don't know, man. Maybe it's the Eagles fan in me, but I can just visually see the Eagles beating the shit out of Zach Wilson and the memes coming and the picks. And again, maybe I'm a fanboy, but it is a lot of points on the road, 7 points on the road here. But I think the Eagles are a really bad matchup for the Jets here. The Kansas City would have covered if it wasn't for that that slide at the end of the game here.
I know. So what I'll say is the Jets could have beat Kansas City. They didn't. The Jets did come off a win. Maybe their confidence is getting high. 7 points is just a lot for me. I think this kicks off around 6. So I lean the Jets here. This isn't some best bet or anything like that. I just lean the Jets because of the points. So I like trolling my little homie Matty. I think this is a little bit of a letdown spot for the Eagles. I don't think the Jets can beat your Eagles. But I think their defense is going to be the best defense you've seen. And I'm more worried about the Eagles' offense still than I am their defense. So
you like the under?
I really like this +7. This game can get away from the Jets quick, to Matty's point.
Yeah.
If the Eagles get to Zach Wilson like they do with all quarterbacks, we're going to have to see him make some decisions. And if they can stop the run, he's going to have to default to passing. Those are recipes for disaster for Zach. So I just think 7's too much for this defense. and this Jets team. I've seen them hang with good teams like the Chiefs. I've seen them like they had the ball on the 50 when
you also
fumbled
see them lose 15-10 to the
I did. I'm just
Patriots.
telling you, I like the 7. I think it kicks off around 5.5 or 6.
You think?
Yeah, I do.
I think it's going to kick off at 7 or 7.5.
All right.
But I might be dead wrong here. I don't know, man. Again, I just hate betting on my Eagles games because, like last week I wanted to bet on them and I didn't. And this week I feel like if I bet on the Eagles, the Jets are going to cover. But I really do think it's a tough matchup for the Jets here.
It's a very tough matchup.
Moving on here. This is Sunday Night Football. Why the hell are the Giants on Sunday night primetime? I don't get it.
Why did they get so many primetime games?
I don't know, man. But this is an embarrassing matchup for this game could be over at halftime. The Giants 14-point underdog to the Buffalo Bills over under 45. Saquon Barkley banged up. Dawson Knox banged up for the Bills. He's questionable. Tre'Davious White on the IR. Daniel Jones questionable for the Giants. I mean, this is just a tough spot. Now, it does look like I think the Giants are – Brian Dable is optimistic that Daniel Jones will play in this game. But you talked about it earlier in the show. The Giants couldn't even cover after getting a 14-point swing on that pick six play.
Oh.
Tua threw 2 interceptions in that game, and they still couldn't cover. Meanwhile, the Buffalo Bills routed the Dolphins. I think this is as bad as a matchup as it gets for the Giants. I really do. I don't know what to do in this game. 14 points is a lot, but then again, is it that many points?
Everyone in the world is going to have this game in a teaser.
You think?
Yeah, I have no idea how the Giants hang with Buffalo. I can't even see them scoring. Maybe my best bet is New York Giants team total under. Something like that.
This would be what, like probably 30, 14, 30. So it'd probably be like under 16 points.
Is that what it'd be? 16?
Those 6, what?
Is that
30 to 16 would be 46. So
yeah,
maybe like 28 and a half,
14 and a half.
28 and a half to
14 and a half. I just don't. The season got away from these Giants. This is, I hope, the last time we see them in prime time. Saquon, I'm sure, will be back. 14's a lot of points. I just can't bet them. I can't bet anything about them. I don't want to be involved in this. I want to. The Bills looked so bad against Jacksonville's defense. They made Jacksonville's defense look like a top 2 defense in the NFL.
Yeah, this might be another buy low spot on Buffalo. Look what I did with Buffalo. What was it, a few weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
Let's pull up the Bills schedule real quick because this is actually very interesting. So week 1, they lose against the Jets, right? Aaron Rodgers gets injured. They somehow lose off the special teams in that game, right? And then week 2, I said, this is the best spot to take the Bills. They come out and rout the Raiders 38-10, right? And the very next week, they look even more dominant. They beat the Commanders 37-3. And then the very next week, rout the Dolphins, right? So that's 3 straight really impressive performances, 3 straight double-digit wins, right? Then it's a London game in Jacksonville where the Jags were there for 2 weeks, and I think you throw that game out. I think there's outlier games in the NFL.
Yeah.
It's not a division game, but it feels like, just an outlier game where it's in London, and now you're coming back home in a primetime game against the Giants. I mean, I got to be honest, I like the minus 14 here. I really do.
It could be a demoralizing victory for Buffalo where they just use this to get all their confidence back.
Yeah.
I agree. And then Buffalo has Patriots in 2 weeks. Yeah. I just don't like this New York Giants team. I don't want to have money on them. I haven't had money on them, thankfully, since the first week when Dallas gave them the business. So I think their season got away from them. I really do. So I just don't want my money on the table.
Yeah.
Hoping they cover. I really think Buffalo could come out and smack them as hard as Buffalo smacked Washington.
And I want to see what that first half line is, because if you look, I want to go back and look after every Buffalo Bills loss, how they do in the first half of the game after. Because, for example, week 1 they lose. They then outscore the Raiders by 11 in the first half. I'm going to go back to last year, look at that as well. But I really want to take a look at that Buffalo Bills first half spread as well, because this is a good point. There could be a backdoor cover if both Saquon and Daniel Jones are healthy there, so it's something to keep in mind here. All right,
Someone
moving
said
on.
Deshaun Watson's not playing. Like, it's for sure. That'd be surprising.
No, I don't think that's accurate. Unless that just happened. All right, moving on. Last game of the week.
This is the game I'm excited for.
Really? Monday Night Football. Now, this is Chargers coming off the bye, right? Chargers coming off the bye?
Chargers coming off a bye, yeah.
Yeah, so we have the Cowboys coming off of the embarrassing loss to the 49ers. People are very low on Dak Prescott right now and this Cowboys team in general. And odds makers have made them a 2.5-point favorite against a good Chargers team coming off a bye. Make it make sense. Over under 50.5 here. 46% of the tickets are on Dallas. 54% of the tickets are on the Chargers. Justin Herbert is questionable. Austin Eckler is questionable. Derwin James, Joey Bosa. I mean, this Charger team is banged up and questionable, but the question is, did the bye week help? And what is that going to look like and to monitor this week? But what do you like in this game?
I hate betting against teams low. The world is going to be a little low on Dallas, but I actually think Dallas is that one team that has enough of a fan base that believes in them year after year that I can't believe I'm getting the Chargers as a home dog in primetime off the bye. Now, will the Chargers be in LA? Yes. Will it be a home game? No. Dallas is going to pack that freaking stadium. I'm just surprised I'm getting Chargers here. Money line, plus 117. Like, that's a deal to me, and that actually seems a little low. Like, I would take the 2.5 over plus 117.
Yeah. So the injuries, let's talk about the injuries. Austin Eckler, 99% chance he said he plays Monday Night Football, so it looks like he's going to play. Derwin James, though, that's the safety position, still questionable. Joey Bosa, that's obviously going to be massive to have Joey Bosa in this game. He's questionable as well. Justin Herbert, he suffered the fractured middle finger. It's on his non-throwing hand against the Raiders, so he's playing, it looks like. I don't know, man.
You like Dallas? Say it. Say it.
This is a game where I'm gonna have to monitor throughout the week. If you're asking who I'm taking today, I just don't know.
Home dog primetime. I actually think home dog in primetime is nearly dead. This is gonna be one instance where it cleans up because there will be way more money on Dallas.
I'm not sure what to do with this game. I'll let you guys decide for me in the chat. Who do you guys like? I'll pull up the image here. So this is the spread. This is the money line. That's the over-under. Comment in the chat who you like for Monday Night Football. I want to watch this line movement throughout the week. I want to watch the injuries. I want to see what happens. But then again,
good guy, Tim.
It is a nice little primetime dog. Home dog in primetime.
Chargers
coming in right here.
Chargers.
I like it. I like it. All right, let's move on to the recap here. Quick recap of the week here. If you guys are just tuning in, Survivor. I'll let GIno start with the teams he likes. If you're still alive in your Survivor week, first of all, congratulations to you going into week 6. These are the squads that GIno thinks you should take a look at.
Yeah. So, guys, if you're gonna, I'm getting a little not bold, right? Obviously, the Dolphins. Let's be serious, Real. Thanks for your advice. Those are the top 4 plays mathematically. I think this is a good place to use the Dolphins. Just survive the next couple of weeks, sincerely. Then you'll get a little greedy. I like my dog of the week in Seahawks. They're off a bye. I love Minnesota in this position against. I think I don't have a system for this. I'm gonna actually go in and try and update my algorithm to make a system for this. I want to know if you can sell high off a primetime win and it's a better sell high. Does that make sense? Where everyone sees or buy low off a primetime low. I want to see if a primetime buy low or primetime sell high means more. So I like Minnesota here because they got to put it together at this point. And then last but not least, Jets plus 7. I think they're too good of a defense to be getting 7. Believe it or not, I think this game kicks off at 5.5, and we'll see if Matty and I are right on that.
Interesting. My dog of the week are the Patriots. I'm going to continue to fade this Raiders team because they're absolute dog shit. Patriots 32nd in the NFL in points, but they've played the worst. They've played the best defenses, 4 of the top 10 defenses in the NFL so far. So I'm going to trust that those numbers are skewed. I think Bill Belichick will finally put on a good performance against McDaniels and Jimmy G. Keep the damn points. Give me the Patriots on the money line. My buy low spot of the week is the Baltimore Ravens. Everyone is going to look at what they did last week, but Lamar Jackson is going to show out in London against a team that does not do well statistically this season against hurrying and putting pressure on quarterbacks. So I love the Ravens in this spot. This is going to be my second 3-unit play of the season where I went 1-0 on the first one on the 49ers. This is a bounce back spot for this Ravens team in a non-division game. Ravens are second in the league in scoring, Titans 26th. Ravens are first in red zone efficiency, the Titans at 29th. Mismatch all over the field here. I do like Mike Vrabel, but I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens here.
I think the homie Ethan's right. Matty likes Cowboys, but just doesn't want to say it.
It's possible. No, I do bet the Cowboys. I'm
just messing with you, bro.
I bet them a couple weeks ago.
I know you did.
I took them a couple weeks ago, and I took the Commanders against my Eagles, so nobody can ever call me biased again. And my best bet of the week is the same thing as my buy low spot. It's the Baltimore Ravens 3-unit play. I absolutely love it. -4 right now, but I'm going to wait to see what happens to that number because I don't think it's going to go to 4.5 or 5. I think there's a better chance it could hit 3.5. So I will wait to give it out officially on social media. I hope to get it at 3 or 3.5 in London on the neutral field. Let's go ahead and move on to our guy Trevor. Go ahead in the chat right now, everyone. If you have any questions for Daily Fantasy Sports, if you want to build a team or a stack, or you want to bet an underdog or a prize pick slip or a bet openly slip, whatever it is, drop those questions in the chat, and Trevor will try to help you. What's good, Trev?
What I would say too, Trev, before you go, guys, you were asking about props. We do all the props at the end of the show, so this is what Trev comes on for. He's our prop guy. So sorry we were not responding to some of the comments. You're up.
All right, so we got an interesting slate this week. I kind of like it. There's some ugly games. There's some fun games, right? Like we got the Dolphins versus Carolina, and even though Achan's hurt, like Carolina's the second worst run defense in the league. I think you're still just going to tee up Moistert, and Jeff Wilson's supposed to be back. So I like that from a DFS spot. I like the Lions and Tampa Bay game from a DFS spot. Tampa Bay has not been great first tight end, and we've literally seen the rookie Laporta lead the league. So I'm pretty excited there on that one. Those are some like cool spots for me this week. And then I'll get into the game Thursday night. Denver has been the worst run team by a lot, like a significant amount. And I'm going to attack that. So my play that I like right now is the Isaiah Pacheco for an anytime touchdown at plus 100. This is going to close at like 130 to 150. It's going to close at both. So I really, really like that spot. It's there. And then I actually like some of the defensive props in that game from the Denver side. I think, with a 30-point implied total, we're going to see a bunch of, different options there on what to do. So I like that spot quite a bit.
I like it, brother.
I know Trevor's a Niners fan, and we forgot to play this clip, so I'm going to play it for both of you guys real quick.
Uh-oh.
You guys are going to like this. I'm sure Trevor's seen this. GIno hasn't somehow, but
if Mac Jones was in San Francisco, he would be playing like Brock Purdy.
I actually agree.
Oh, God, no.
Yes, dude.
No, there's no chance.
We're going to play.
Wait, what?
We're going to play that one more time for GIno if you guys missed it.
If Mac Jones was in San Francisco, he would be playing like Brock Purdy.
I actually agree.
Oh, God, no.
Yes, dude.
No.
This is the one time I agree with Rex Ryan over Dan Orlovsky because I'm a big Dan Orlovsky guy, but that was the dumbest thing I ever heard. We were supposed to play that earlier in the show, but Trevor's a 49ers fan too.
But let's have this talk. We don't have to make this Niners show, but I want you guys to listen and learn from this. Where is the Brock Purdy hate coming from? The guy is moving like an absolute savage in the pocket. He's shuffling around. His completion percentage outside of the pocket is one of the highest in the leagues. He doesn't take sacks and doesn't turn the ball over. Everyone's acting like anyone can do what he did. We just had Jimmy not able to do it.
Yeah, no, I think that like I said, Dan Orlovsky is usually right on the money. That was his worst take of all time.
That's like the number one take of like casuals in the hater comments. I'm surprised it came out of Orlovsky's mouth.
Right. 100%.
So I'm old enough, right? I'm in my mid 40s. I got to watch Brady start and go through this exact same thing. It took Brady probably 2 years before they would say, okay, the kid can actually play quarterback. It's unreal. And I posted a video of a quarterback, former NFL quarterback, who breaks down video showing Brock's footwork and showing it versus Dak and how much better it is and why he can make the throws he makes. Like it annoys me, but doesn't surprise me. And I think a lot of it's just because they don't have a quarterback on their team.
I don't get it. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. Yeah, we were talking about this earlier, guys. Purdy right now is plus 700 on MVP. And I'm telling you all this. If you're one of the people that believes Purdy's not great, he's just okay or good because how much talent the Niners has, there's some value there. I hate telling people to buy something this late that you could have got for 50 to 1. But if the Niners just keep rolling on offense, his stats are going to just keep padding. And CMC catches a lot. Again, you just saw we turned on our tight end for the first time this year in 1 week. Debo didn't get any catches barely. BA either. Jennings, Jawan. Like, if y'all want to hate on Brock, do so by betting him on the MVP, because if you think anyone can do it or they're that talented, he's going to keep doing what he's doing offensively.
Yeah, it's I would take that, and the book saying that tells us they think, right, like the guys handling billions of dollars a month in money believe that's going to go there. But I agree that I saw that earlier and I audibly laughed out loud. That was that's top 3 worst NFL takes I've ever heard, like ever in the history of anything. Hey, Justin, I got one for you about CMC's rampage. You want some value? CMC is still plus 1,800 for MVP. And I get it's usually a quarterback, but at plus 1,800, that's value. Like if he keeps in the way, there's value there.
Yeah, I asked GIno a week or two ago. I said it's still 25 to 1. You still have to think about taking it.
You know what's crazy about this year too, guys? With MVP, remember, it's a competition against other people. No one else is standing out. The leader right now, again, I will never disrespect the homie Mahomes. He's an absolute monster. Most people would kill to have him signed in their quarterback. That said, his season is not head and shoulders above anyone right now. So it's good to have it in. And then you just saw Allen had a very bad game. Very bad. He's now been high or low. So the MVP race is chasing other people. This is a year where it feels like someone in like the 4th or 5th tier of that is valuable and can take it.
Yeah, I like that side. I saw a question earlier. They were asking about Lamar over 221. I think I'm going to take that spot. Here's why I'm going to hold on it. I want to see when I want to see when they travel. So as you saw, one of the things that hurt Buffalo's, they went 2 days before. Yeah, these teams that do that, if you look at the history and then go over early, they're way better off getting there early and letting their bodies adjust. But the Tennessee secondary is real bad, and you got to attack that. And we saw last week he got Monken's offense last week. He should have had 300 yards, but they dropped 2 balls. Bateman dropped 2 balls. Andrews dropped 2 balls.
You know the 3-unit play I gave out on the show is the Ravens -4.
Oh yeah, I really like that spot. And you've seen Henry's lost that gear. They're starting to give Tajay the ball more. If you guys are playing fantasy and you're in smaller 10, 12 team leagues, pick up Tajay. He's a great spot this week. It's there. I'm interested to see what happens there. And then what do you guys say? Did you talk about the big game for me is what can the Eagles do against the Jets defense? Like, can your boys just keep rolling? Like, is Sauce going to be able to shut down AJ? Like, their defense is for real.
Their defense is for real. So I don't think the Jets win this game. I want to be clear to everyone out there. I do not. I gave out my best bet is Jets +7 because I think it tips off at +5. So that's where Matty didn't like it. But I do want to bug you, Trev, too. I almost think you're required now to have a 2-touchdown prop when you come on the show. I think we will require you to, because you feed them on our show.
Yeah,
I feel like the people here want some fireworks.
All right.
And I know you have someone up your sleeve that can get us 2 touchdowns. Of course, CMC stands out in my book. Technically, I think there's a little value on that just because this is such a good defense in Cleveland that this might be a war. And CMC only got 1 rushing TD because he fumbled the other one on the 1-yard line. Not hating on you, CMC, if you're listening. You're my dog. But that's...
Yeah, but the real question is, does the 13 or 14 game streak come to an end?
Oh, no. We're getting 2 touchdowns.
Absolute zero chance. 0.
2 touchdowns. He's getting 2. I think the value's on 2 touchdowns. I'm going to give that up.
Trevor,
I want to see what the line is.
Going to get 2 touchdowns. Like his name cannot be
All
CMC.
right, so as I look at the games, man, this is because we don't have the lines yet. Because some of it I like is they misvalue them. Gosh, looking at this,
Pacheco.
No, hold on.
Odds aside, if you gun to your head, you got to pick one player.
I'm going. Hold on, I want to see who
you take.
Let's go. We're gonna go Raheem Mostert of the Dolphins for 2 tutties this week because they're playing Carolina, who is trash, and Achane just got hurt. Wilson's coming back off an injury. They're gonna run the ball. And that, if you have watched run defense, it's bad.
For those that don't know, Mostert and McCarthy were both back in the Niners. McDaniels and Mostert were both on the Niners at the same time, too. A lot of history there. A lot of comfort there.
And he's still getting used a ton, but now with Achane gone, he's going to get the bulk of the carries this week. He's going to see 15 to 20 carries this week. I think there's going to be a ton of value there, especially if we can get it above plus 800 or so.
Nice. There it is. That's what we needed. A nice play. That'll be over 800 for sure.
Yeah, it should be. But the Carolina's run D is almost as bad as Denver's. So we might be on. I got to see where we land. I was doing it right before we got on. We might be on. I gave Pacheco 1. We might go Pacheco 2 also. There's a good chance we sprinkle a little Pacheco for 2 tomorrow night.
I like it.
Kelsey's banged up. Denver's strength is pass defense, and they cannot stop the run. They have been gashed. Like, they're letting more people through than a turnstile at Disney World in Florida. Like, that's how bad their run defense is.
I love it. And what I wanted to see too, I was screwing around on FanDuel. I found this prop that lowest scoring team and highest scoring team. So Matt and we have screenshots. I wanted to pull those up. Do you know how to do that? I wanted to show you this because it's a little, there it is right there. Dude, that's so sick. Right there. First.
Yeah, let me pull it up.
We got a couple of things. So here, you're a Niners fan. Let's start with the top one. That's that first loss.
All right.
So guys, anyone listening, these are degens. Do not hammer stuff like this. This is pure entertainment, pure to say you hit it. You sprinkle a quarter of a unit on it. It's pure entertainment. But this was interesting to me. And it's actually really cool because you see it starts to compound, right? Because they can lose every game before.
I'm sprinkling on week 13.
So look at this. Like the Niners, if you look at this, it gets super interesting. If we win in Cleveland, which I think we will, we go into we're not losing to Minnesota or the Bengals. So get lost with that noise. We go into the bye week 9 and look how much payout you get after week 9. So again, I'm a Niner fan. I don't want y'all to think I'm some sicko and cheer against my boys, but this to me is my bet. I think we go into this game's going to be tough, but I think we go into the bye 8-0 and everyone's talking about, are these Niners unstoppable? is this the best team we've seen since the 72 Dolphins kind of talk offensively? And then look how interesting these money lines get, because we will not be nearly that much in, when you take the dog money line, because it compounds. So this to me was super interesting. And to Matty's point, 12-1 in Philly, I think we
Or 40-1 in Baltimore.
Philly, but
Actually, know where I like this, and this sucks to say, but it's a value point, is the second Seattle game at plus 3,500, because we just take our foot off the gas. We got the Cardinals. We start looking ahead to Baltimore, and even though we're playing Seattle, that could be a letdown.
At home, they didn't beat us at home. That sucks.
I'm going week 13. Gino's going.
I'll be at the Jacksonville game, so I can't bet that. I think
Trevor's going week 14. I'm going week 13.
I'm going week 14 on that.
And I think I'll then be boring, guys. I'll be at Seattle week 12.
Hold on. Is there an undefeated prop?
Yeah. It's 17-1.
It's dog shit. You
Oh,
better
that's
roll the money
that's
line over
trash.
every week.
That's trash.
Yeah,
Roll the money line over every week. Let's look at Philly.
Yeah.
Here's the Eagles.
This is a good one, too.
If you're going to take the first loss, look, my Eagles are 30-1 to finish.
I think they win this week. I like plus 7.
If you
but
look
I think
at my
win.
Eagles, we have the toughest 3-game stretch in the NFL.
Look at that, dude.
We play the Chiefs, Bills, Niners back to back to back. And that's sandwiched in between Cowboys and Cowboys. So that's a 5-game stretch. Cowboys, Chiefs, Bills, Niners, Cowboys.
Three-game stretch.
Yeah.
It's
right?
no longer a 5-game stretch.
That's division, dude. So I'm looking at this. Oh man, the value I see on the Eagles being able to squeak out all the way to week 11. And now you have two teams, that to me, they're going to be dogs at Kansas City. Thing is, I actually like the Eagles a little better than Kansas City. So that Bills one gets even nastier.
Yeah.
I mean, the value is the 49er pick, right? On the money, like with the odds they're giving. Like, that's the value.
Yeah, they got to beat Cowboys, Chiefs, Buffalo. 30-1.
I don't think we're going to make it to Kansas City undefeated. I really don't. I think we'll lose to either Dallas or
Dolphins
or Kansas City or Buffalo. No, I think we're going to beat Miami. I really do.
Well, then
I think you guys can score on Miami and you'll slow their offense down.
You get 8-1 if you got them undefeated into Kansas City.
Yeah.
I'm going Niners, man. Like, that's the spot. That's the value.
30-1.
Niners spot.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Okay, and then the last one. Sorry, guys, I added this, but I really wanted this lowest scoring team. So I gave this one out. I have the Texans this week. I think the Texans is a very tough spot. They're against the Saints. I think this is going to be an
Jets, baby. My Eagles are going to dominate.
Dude, it's only 10-1. Not bad.
I like
That's
that.
good. It's good payout. So Matty, I like Matty likes the Jets here. I like the
What are
Texans.
the Giants?
They're the number 1, 7-1.
Nah.
It's not bad. It's 7-1 still nasty, but you're just not getting any ROI.
Yeah. Buffalo's just going to murder them.
And this is the highest scoring.
And honestly, I think Miami's the worst play on the board because they're not going to need to score that much.
Yeah.
Against the Giants.
Giants ain't going to score.
I think you look at.
Look at Minnesota there.
So, highest scoring team for me. Where's Detroit at?
A battle, a shootout. You like Detroit?
I do. Because nobody's going to pick them because they're going to say Tampa Bay's played pretty well this year. And I think the Detroit offense is they're saying Amon's going to play this week. Like, I like Detroit.
The Bears has to be huge. It has to be at least 25-1.
Yeah.
The
So
Bears
I did the top 7. So anything over that's money.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I don't hate
I like this. I'm gonna include this every week. I think this is a blast. I'm gonna start betting these just like a straight to gen, just like 0.1 units, just to hit some of these. Trev, I think that Eagles, there's some value there, man. For the Eagles to get all the way to Kansas City, and you make 8-1 if they lose in KC, or 30-1 to lose to us.
Yeah, I just like the value at it's the value for me. Like, I think there's more value at the 30-1.
Of course. Wouldn't doubt it.
Okay, so question, as I'm looking at like matchups, what was Dallas is to score the most points this week?
I don't know.
I don't hate Dallas either. Like in a comeback spot against the Chargers after getting just completely blown out. The Chargers pasty is booty. And
yeah,
so
no, it's a good call out. If whatever the payout is, it's more than the one you saw at the bottom. So it's over 20-1. Because I just did the top 7 of each.
yeah, I think I'm gonna go that. I think I'm gonna go Cowboys in a comeback spot.
I like it.
Ravens in London. That'd be crazy.
That would be to kick off the day. And the whole day you're gonna watch your high number get chased like a horse.
Right? You're just getting hunted down all day.
Yeah. If they score in the 30s, you're gonna be like,
that's nasty.
All right, boys, we're gonna wrap up here. Make sure to like and subscribe on the channel. We will be back next week to break down week 7. Make sure to sign up at betopenly.com and go get yourself an account today. And if you'd like to join us at disciplinethegens.com, both of those are in the subscription or in the description below on the YouTube channel. We will see you guys back next week.
Matty's being humble. We won 12 units yesterday, and Trev and I are on an absolute heater.
Yes, sir.
Heater.
Trevor hit the first TD prop too last night. So
And we laddered Javier today for baseball, and we're up 3.5 units on that. GIno hit first 5. We're up.
I
on
hit
that.
first 5 twice. I had Houston and the over for a unit each. We're up like 7 more units today.
Yeah,
we're up 12 yesterday. We're up like 20 units in 2 days, guys. We bet half unit and 1 unit plays. We're printing.
Yes, sir.
Yep. So let's go watch some CUSA action tonight and get some football in.
I like it, brother. Talk to you soon. Hockey's back, baby.
Yep, let's go. Yeah, we're about to cash our first one with 10 minutes to go in the 3rd period.
I love it. Later, homie.
Later. On a warm summer's evening, on a train bound for nowhere, I met up with a gambler. We were both too tired to sleep, so we took turns of staring out the window at the darkness. Till boredom overtook us, and he began to speak. He said, son, I've made a life out of reading people's faces and knowing what the cards were by the way they held their eyes. So if you don't mind my saying, I can see you're out of aces. For a taste of your whiskey, I'll give you some advice. You got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, and know when to run. You never count your money. When you're sitting at the table, there'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. Every gambler knows that the secret to surviving is knowing what to throw away, knowing what to keep. Cause every hand's a winner and every hand's a loser, and the best that you can hope for is to die in your sleep. And when he finished speaking, he turned back toward the window, crushed out his cigarette, faded off to sleep. And somewhere in the darkness, the gambler, he broke even. In his final words, I found an ace that I could keep. You got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, and know when to run. You never count your money. When you're sitting at the table, there'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done.